Now, and then the Herald and him walk of a story we about multi-million dollar stinking day Hicks bots again.
Yes.
Now we know walk of a free.
It has a now Michelle for. But late last year, one of baby coming up to be on a scandal via AC war BOST. My almost sure who rejoined on the coming up. CP9 said there has been a scandal and other things, and so we decided to delay the story to a certain extent, but I mean eventually we had to bring it out. And the story is before Ora Alfred Dogbey took charge of BOST, there was crude oil via a war, which was about 2 million barrels. As at sometime last year, they decided to sell this with crude oil to a company called BB Energy. Now, when they were selling it, the international price of crude oil was over $60 per barrel. But the management decided that they were selling it less than $60, and then brought it further down to just around $50 per barrel. So this crude oil, 1 million barrels of it went to BB Energy. Now, Kwame, information I can say, even though the oil went, BB Energy hasn't paid any money to BOST.
Obadiah, Monsakasa information yi. What me across checking one friend, it be a opening or that BOST.
Why won't you let me finish?
Matimit you.
I know where that concern is coming from, but I'll answer you. Now, so the money, the crude oil went, but then payment wasn't made to BOST. So international price of crude oil was being sold at a certain value, and then BOST decided to sell the crude oil at a far cheaper price. Hello. Okay, at a far cheaper price, and in that, then the money didn't come. Now, then some insiders started agitating for answers, from management of BOST as well as the board. I mean, why would this thing happen? Resources have gone and the money hasn't come, and that whether or not, because then Manfonia is in tears. There were some people who were fronting, for BB Energy, and so these guys would have collected the money, and then they either shared it and answer, they are just keeping sitting on it, so and using it for their own end. Hello, Kwame.
Me too.
Okay, so that they were demanding answers from the management of BOST. So we did the BOST. There was this huge avalanche of concerns building up as far as this with crude oil matter was concerned. Now, to get back to your question as to whether or not we consulted management. Listen, this has been the line that management and as Alfred Dogbey management has been using. Have you contacted us? Have you contacted us? Have you contacted us? Well, let me tell you. Alfred, when we wrote the coming up, they sent a rejoinder to media houses on a story that we hadn't written. It was funny. It was the height of lack of professionalism as far as PR work is concerned. But I know where that is coming from. I mean, now.
Okay.
Okay.
So we know where that is coming from. In a free.
Oh, if we, the competence the competence in that PR department, the level of competence in that PR department. That is why they will issue a press statement and as a region that on a story that hadn't been published.
No,
Bami. The rejoinder was in specific reference to the Herald.
Okay.
specific reference, and they called us names, they insulted us, they threatened, and other things, and other things, and other things. I mean, listen, let's focus on the issue. So then, what else happened? After that, we were told there was so much confusion over whether the import, your friend saying, whether it was proper for that press statement and as a return that to be issued in the first place. After that, then there were so many other meetings. Alfred Robin kept sending me agents upon agents, and then he insisted that there was going to be a meeting. Indeed, I had obliged him those meetings. Some of the meetings were supposed to happen in certain places, including hotels that I refused to show up. Eventually, I said, listen, let's have a meeting in my office.
Me too, pa.
I insisted that the meeting should be in my office. And then Okuma said the following day he's meeting the minister.
I said na office, at least he said BOST wo you come office ya o ma bi o ma pono o mo nyo hwe.
Kwame. I haven't said so be me. Please listen to me.
O se mempo na me kasa.
So then I said, listen, let's have the meeting in my office. I will be in the office. They will give me today. Wouldn't show up. They will give me another time. They won't show up. They will give me another time. They won't show up. And then Okuma said the following day or another time or meeting or Ministry of Energy another time or Ministry or Flagstaff was there meeting and so on. Kwame, we have run coming up for years, for weeks or even if not months. What would you do given the condition or given the circumstance?
You publish.
Thank you. Now,
Mami, so are you sure of the information say when you are hauled before whatever EBR
are you listening? Are you focusing on the import of the story as opposed to a claim of a threat? And I say a threat when you are hauled before. Why would I be hauled before? You are looking at being hauled as opposed to the content of the story which must be addressed. Kwame,
me too.
Why wouldn't you focus on the content of the story? Which is that ask BOST whether or not they have had crude oil.
Okay.
Whether crude oil has been disposed of. Whether at the time the crude oil was with Tor. And what had happened. Whether BOST and Tor had any transaction with BP oil. Yeah. Focus on that.
So these are
issue about whether or not I'll be hauled.
Okay.
Whether or not I'll be hauled, that is coming from BOST. That is coming from BOST.
Okay.
Look at don't come from BOST and I said, look at the content.
Okay.
Ask whether the transaction has happened.
Okay.
It's almost a transaction now, Koswana. When they answer you, then I will tell you, say, listen, anytime they call me before any institution, I'm ready to appear. And then I hope they also be ready to appear to give evidence. Because already the contaminated oil case, and also that they haven't answered anything about it. Kwame, we are not dealing with kids. This BOST is a state institution. Anybody who is working there and is being paid by the state should be accountable to the people. Alfred Obin has never been accountable to anything. This is a running story. The rest will be coming.
Okay.
Look at the content of the story.
Mate, any major wahana miso mabanai ahwe se metimi ni omo so adi nkomo pe de ye keke any questions that why raise here na ya hwenye no a omo so ede beba.